The observation deck of the Galactic Zoological Institute trembled as another roar echoed through the reinforced walls. Ambassador Vexthor's scales rippled with barely contained anxiety as he watched the monitors displaying the carnage below. Korik, the juvenile Vrathkai, had destroyed another containment unit, the fourth this cycle. "This is impossible," the Krillian zoologist hissed, his multiple eyes reflecting the chaos on screen. "No species in the known galaxy can approach a Vrathkai cub during rage state. The pheromones alone would drive any sentient being mad with terror." Elara Hayes stood quietly at the back of the observation room, her arms crossed, watching the young creature thrash against the energy barriers. While the assembled xenobiologists from 17 different worlds debated sedation protocols and emergency containment procedures, she saw something they didn't: the slight tremor in Korik's movements, the way his chitinous plates flared, not with aggression, but with panic. "He's scared," she said softly. The room fell silent. Ambassador Vexthor turned his massive frame toward her, his translator barely keeping pace with his incredulous tone. "Scared? Human Haze, that creature has organic weaponry capable of tearing through starship hull plating. Its neurotoxic spines have—" "I know what the specs say," Ilara interrupted, stepping forward. "But I also know what fear looks like. Universal across every species I've ever met." The Krillian zoologist scoffed. "Your species has been part of the Galactic Council for barely 3 standard cycles. The Vrathkai are ancient, powerful, and fundamentally incompatible with soft tissue life forms. Their cubs bond through combat, not whatever primitive emotion you're suggesting." Ilara moved to the reinforced window, pressing her hand against the cool glass. Below, Korik smashed into another barrier, his crystalline eyes wild, his 6 limbs flailing. "When did you take him from his clutch?" 7 solar days ago," Vexthor admitted. "His birth mother was killed by poachers. We're attempting to save the species from—" "7 days," Ilara whispered. "7 days alone, in a strange place, with strange beings, strange sounds, strange everything." She turned to face the assembly. "Let me go in." The suggestion was met with immediate uproar. Protocols were cited. Liability waivers were mentioned. 3 different species began arguing simultaneously about the legal ramifications of allowing a human to commit what they clearly considered suicide. Ilara waited for the noise to subside. "You've tried everything else. Sedatives don't work because his metabolism burns through them. Drones get destroyed. Energy barriers just make him angrier." She paused. "What do you have to lose?" Ambassador Vexthor's silence spoke volumes. 30 minutes later, Ilara stood in the airlock, stripped of all technology, all weapons, all protection, except for a simple biosuit that regulated her temperature. Through the transparent barrier, she could see Korik, now huddled in the corner of the enormous containment chamber, his body heaving with exhaustion. "This is madness," the Krillian's voice crackled through her earpiece. "The moment you enter, his predatory instincts will—" Ilara removed the earpiece and left it in the airlock. The door hissed open. Korik's head snapped toward her immediately. His crystalline eyes, each the size of her fist, locked onto her small form. A low rumble built in his thorax, a sound that registered below human hearing but made her bones vibrate. Every instinct screamed at her to run. The pheromones the aliens had mentioned hit her like a wall, carrying the scent of ozone and burning metal. Her heart hammered against her ribs. But Ilara had grown up on the colony world of Kepler 442b, where she'd helped rehabilitate everything from traumatized rescue animals to displaced wildlife. Fear, she learned, was a language all its own. She didn't advance, didn't retreat, just stood there, making herself as small and non-threatening as possible. Korik's spines extended, a threat display. Neurotoxin glistened at their tips. Ilara slowly lowered herself to the ground, sitting cross-legged, making herself even smaller. She began to hum, not a song, just a low, steady vibration that matched the frequency of her own heartbeat. The cub's rumbling intensified. He took one massive step forward, then another, close enough now that she could see her reflection in his multifaceted eyes. Close enough that one swipe of his bladed forelimbs could end her. She didn't flinch, just kept humming, kept breathing, kept being present. Korik's head tilted. The movement was so distinctly curious, so universally childlike, that Ilara felt her fear transform into something else entirely. Slowly, telegraphing every movement, she extended her hand, palm up, fingers relaxed. In the observation room, every being held whatever they used for breath. Korik leaned forward, his massive head lowering toward her tiny hand. His breath was furnace hot against her skin. Then, with a gentleness that seemed impossible for a creature of such devastating potential, he pressed his chitinous snout into her palm. The rage left him like air from a punctured hull. His spines retracted, his plates settled flush against his body. And then, in a movement that would be analyzed by xenobiologists for decades to come, Korik curled his massive form around Alara's sitting figure and made a sound, a soft, thrumming purr that vibrated through the floor. Alara raised her other hand and gently stroked the ridge above his eye. "It's okay," she whispered. "You're safe now. I've got you." The assembled scientists watched in stunned silence as the human, the soft, fragile, supposedly inferior human, sat cradled in the embrace of the galaxy's most dangerous juvenile predator, both of them finally at peace. Ambassador Vexthor's voice was quiet with wonder. "How is this possible?" The Krillian zoologist for once had no answer. But as they watched Alara continue to stroke Korik's armor-plated head, the cub's eyes slowly closing in what could only be contentment, a new variable entered the Galactic Council's understanding of humanity. They were not the strongest species, not the fastest, not the most advanced, not the most deadly, but they possessed something that perhaps mattered more, an inexplicable ability to reach across the void between species, to find common ground in the most unlikely places, to offer comfort where logic said none should exist. They called it empathy. The galaxy would learn to call it hope.